Ashtotra Jatishi Maris Vangre Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Vibri Founder Jaya Svangre Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jaya Om Vishnu Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtotra Jatishi Maris Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Thakur Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Guru Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Karantra Shri Chaitanya Chaitamrita Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Garanga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, die Devotees. Spreche ich heute in Deutsch oder in Englisch?
Ja, wir haben immer englisches steht damit, also Englisch.
Oh, okay, gut. Gleich.
Vielleicht dann, wenn du Lust auf Deutsch.
Mein Russisches habe ich auch im Fenster.
Kann nicht Russisch lesen.
Russisch только я, наверное, один буду.
Wird Zeit für russisch-englische Übersetzung. Irina, wo ist Irina? Die könnte das bestimmt.
Wenn sie da wäre, aber die ist nicht da.
Die ist nicht da.
Ist okay.
Also Englisch.
Englisch.
So, bevor wir aus dem transzendentalen Tagebuch hören, möchte ich erstmal mich bei euch allen bedanken. Und für eure Gemeinschaft, für eure guten Beispiele und die ganze Inspiration, die ich von euch bekomme. Für das Obdach hier, das nektargleiche Prasadam und die vielen, vielen ungezählten Segnungen. So, und dann wollen wir jetzt hören von Transzendentalen Tagebuch. We're reading from the Transcendental Diary. Travels with His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, October 1976 to November 1976 for Harish Hari Prabhu. Ich glaube, es gibt ein russisches, oder?
Ja, ist okay. Der kann das nicht lesen.
Kann nicht lesen, okay. Okay, so it's still November 29th, 1976, and Srila Prabhupada is in Sri Vrindandam. The ever-active Mahavira unwittingly provided a bit of light relief this morning for Srila Prabhupada and Dr. Kapoor. They were talking together when Mahavira came into the darshan room on some errand. As he entered, he swung the door and it banged. Then, advancing forward, he offered his obeisances, banging his head on the ground. Somehow there was just a tad too much energy in everything. The want of a little finesse. As he looked up, face slightly red, Prabhupada and Dr. Kapoor were both laughing. With a broad smile, Prabhupada told him, "You are just like Hanuman, always jumping, here to there, here to there." He chuckled and added, "Anyway, enthusiasm is the first qualification, so you go lift mountains for Krishna too." One of our American devotees, Jai Sachinandana Prabhu, has released a really beautiful bhajan tape called Gandharva Loka. Of all our song tapes apart from Srila Prabhupada's, This is probably the best yet. His singing is flawless. His pronunciation of Bengali and Sanskrit is like a native speaker's, and the music is heavenly. I played it on my tape recorder during Prabhupada's lunch one day. Prabhupada was in his prasadam room eating as the sounds waved in from my servant's room. He called me in and asked me what the music was. When I informed him, he tipped his head from side to side in approval. Oh, very nice. When Bhagaji came in from the kitchen with his last chapati for Prabhupada, it caught his attention too. He was surprised when Prabhupada told him with pleasure that it was one of his American disciples. Acha! He sounds just like a Bengali. But the next day when I played it again, thinking Prabhupada would like it, he called me in and told me to turn it off. Soll ich noch ein bisschen weiterlesen? Einen neuen Tag, oder?
Du machst.
Nein, ich glaube, es ist besser, hier aufzuhören. Dann fangen wir morgen einen neuen Tag an. So, what caught your kind attention here? Or do you already have some doubts, questions? Who wants to be first to say something?
Ja, ich habe halt nur verstanden, dass quasi Prabhupada seinen Schüler gelobt hat, dass er die ganze so rumspringen lässt. Und dass er quasi wie Hanuman wäre. Und dass er quasi Krishna dann einfach auch Berge verschieben sollte oder Berge erheben sollte. Das hat ihn sehr erfreut.
Right. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada always saw the good qualities. No? He was fanning the spark. He was not seeing the fault like, oh, he's banging the door, banging his head also, but he was seeing the enthusiasm of his disciple. No? He was like, super, okay, go on, lift mountains like Hanuman. So very nice. That is actually a very important quality of the devotees, no? To always see the good in others, not to see the mistakes. When we find mistakes, that's a sign of envy. Envy, night. That we want to be great and we want to be important and not the other person. And then in the second part, what caught my attention is that Srila Prabhupada, first of all, he was wondering, oh, what is that music? Because apparently there was something unusual that Harishari Prabhu left on the music for him to listen. But then he approved of it and he said, oh, very nice. And Bhagaji, who was cooking at that time for Srila Prabhupada also, when he was serving his last chapati, also said, wow, it sounds just like Bengali. So devotees are also expert. That's another qualification of the devotees. Okay. And how we can get there, we can discuss today. How we can become enthusiastic and expert. Yeah. I'm sorry?
Ich wollte was hinzufügen.
Ja.
Зависть это тогда, когда мы видим недостатки и хотим принизить преданных.
Neid ist, was ist das, wenn wir Mängel in anderen sehen und ihn dann erniedrigen wollen?
Ja, im Grunde genommen, ja, das fängt aber noch subtiler auch noch an.
Это не означает, что мы не видим недостаток.
Aber im Allgemeinen bedeutet das nicht, dass wir keine Mängel sehen.
Ich verstehe den Punkt nicht.
То есть вы говорите, что в основном это не означает, что мы не умеем не видеть.
Мы видим недостаток.
Also wir sehen Mängel sehr wohl.
Но мы не принижаем значение преданных.
Aber wir setzen den Wert des Devotees nicht herab.
Ja.
То есть мы с уважением,
Das ist ein schöner Punkt, actually.
мы с уважением относимся к его главному выбору.
Wir verhalten uns mit Respekt gegenüber seinem hauptsächlichen Entscheid.
А все остальное смоется.
Und alles andere wird fortgewaschen mit der Zeit.
Wir halten uns respektvoll gegenüber was? Was war das?
Und alles andere wird fortgewaschen mit der Zeit. Weil wir verhalten uns respektvoll gegenüber seinem Entscheid, also dass er sich
Seine Entscheidung.
Seine Entscheidung.
Да, зависть это тогда, когда мы видим недостатки и критикуем, то есть во всеуслышание заявляем о недостатках.
Neid ist, wenn wir kritisieren.
Но мы не, как сказать, мы не в розовых очках, что мы не видим недостатки.
Aber wir haben keine rosa-rote Brille auf, dass wir keine Fehler sehen.
У вас не розовые очки. То есть сама зависть это когда мы хотим принизить преданного.
Neid ist, wenn wir den Devotee herabsetzen wollen.
Dankeschön. Das ist ein sehr nicer Punkt, vielen Dank. Der Prabhu machte eine Ergänzung hier dazu, dass wenn wir Fehler sehen, dass es ein Unterschied ist zum Kritik, zum Fehlersuchen. Sozusagen. Also das ist unterschiedlich. Wenn man die Fehler sieht, sagt er, dann man sieht die zwar in den anderen, man verhält sich aber dennoch respektvoll der Entscheidung der Person gegenüber. Man mag die Fehler wahrnehmen, aber man benutzt das nicht, um sich darüber sozusagen zu etablieren. Ne, habe ich das richtig verstanden?
Ja, das ist richtig.
Ja. Oder habe ich etwas Essentielles ausgelassen?
Alles gut, das ist genau richtig.
Sehr gut, vielen Dank. So ein nicer Punkt. Yeah. Actually, what also comes to my attention in regard to this, I was just reading on my cell phone some instructions from His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj Goswami, and he also said, he spoke about criticism, that devotee avoids criticism, and that devotee needs to be compassionate. So, but from my own experience, I can tell you that it's not very helpful for devotional service to dwell on the mistakes of others. And that is what I meant.
What is not helpful?
To dwell on the mistakes of others, also über die Fehler von anderen im Geiste sozusagen immer wieder so zu meditieren. Und das ist, was ich meinte. Das ist der Punkt, was ich meinte, weil da fängt das im Grunde schon an. Selbst wenn man noch keine Kritik den anderen gegenüber zum Ausdruck gebracht hat. Aber der Geist wird dadurch so stark verunreinigt, er zieht das Bewusstsein herab. Und im Herzen, da verhärtet sich etwas. Das ist das falsche Ego, das verhärtet sich irgendwie. Das ist ein schlechtes Gefühl. Ja. Das ist eigentlich, was ich meinte. Man soll eben, wie gesagt, wie Srila Prabhupada, er sieht das Gute, er sieht nicht die Fehler. Aber dass wir uns respektvoll den anderen gegenüber verhalten und auch, es gibt einen anderen Leitsatz, Daumenregel, an die man sich halten soll, ist, man soll mit den anderen milder sein als mit sich selber. Mit sich selber soll man strikt sein und mit den anderen soll man nachsichtig sein. Das beruht jetzt nicht, dass man sich nicht selber lieben soll und sich immer mit der Keule auf den Kopf haut. Das ist damit nicht gemeint. Aber im Allgemeinen ist es doch so, im materiellen Bewusstseinszustand ist doch diese Neigung prävalent, oder vielleicht kennen das viele von euch auch, dass man irgendwie so versucht, Stärke sich auszuleihen von seiner Position, von seinen besonderen Qualitäten, die man hat, Charakteristika oder so, oder Seniorität, also dass man schon längere Zeit in Krishna-Bewusstsein ist. Oh, jetzt spreche ich Deutsch. Ja, bitte erinnert mich. Ihr müsst mich erinnern, bitte. Englisch und langsam. Mach mal dieses Zeichen, wenn ich so schnell spreche. Und du darfst mich erinnern, wenn ich Englisch sprechen soll. Sorry. Nahtlosen Übergang. Okay, so, yeah. That's to the Transcendental Diary. Questions, comments so far?
Just some comments. That's also very important to have the right association, because because if you have the association of people who are always envious, you also automatically get the influence of the envious persons.
That's true. That's also another nice point. Krishna Charan Prabhu is bringing up. He's saying that we also need to be in a proper association. That means we need to understand what is the impact of one's association. It is even said that, I mean, everybody knows this proverb that show me your friends and I tell you who you are. Like who you hang out with, you develop that kind of character. And from one success leader, I heard that the 5 people that are most prominent in one's life, they also very much impact one's character. So to the point of association again. And if you are in the environment of critical people, then their mindset can also contaminate us, even unconsciously. So we may, for example, we may have also some remnant desire for prestige or something, you know. I want to be respected, you know. Why ever, you know? False ego is working like that. And if this other person who is heavily guided by that and is maybe more envious than us, but we don't act upon this envy of other people, so to say, you know, then still it may resonate with us. It can act also like an amplifier in one sense, when one has not learned to save his energy, so to say. One can open one's energy field or close it, and then the law of resonance attracts like-minded things. In general, we hear that the desires are also very much impacting. And like, for example, when we have association with materialistic people, their desires, even though they may not tell us, you should do this, maybe they're not preaching heavily to us, but just the way how they lead their lives can very subtly also contaminate our consciousness. So thank you, very nice comment. Yeah, Maharaj, His Holiness Radha Maharaj Goswami, he also said that we also need the environment in order to flourish. So that's nice, actually. Ja, zu gedeihen, zu wachsen, zu gedeihen, braucht man, wie eine Blume, braucht man ein passendes Umfeld. Further additions? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Есть еще просто разница между критикой и поправлением. Иногда нужно, когда преданный в затруднительном положении, нужно ему помочь. Это означает видеть недостатки. Видеть его сложности.
Kannst du ein bisschen deutlicher sprechen, Prabhu? Wenn du so bewusst deinen Fokus daraus richtest, wie wenn ich lese, nach oben und nach vorne zu sprechen und du mehr so aus der Brust heraus sprichst, dann hast du mehr Klangkraft.
Okay. Wenn ein Devoti sich in einer schwierigen Lage befindet, dann bedeutet das auch, wenn wir ihm helfen wollen, dass wir die Menge sehen, sprich seine schwierige Situation.
И эта лекция не разжена с вами.
Und das ist letzte Woche.
Да,
Und das ist aus einem Vortrag von Niranjana Swami.
Interessant.
То есть это означает, что мы дискриминируем, мы различаем, где правильно, где неправильно.
Das bedeutet, wir unterscheiden, was ist richtig, was ist falsch.
И но мы не злимся на преданных.
Aber wir hegen keinen Hass gegen den Devoti.
Мы ему хотим помочь.
Wir möchten ihnen helfen,
Улучшиться.
besser zu werden.
И для этого мы должны видеть какие-то ошибки.
Und dafür müssen wir gewisse Fehler bei ihm sehen.
И это называется поправление.
Und das nennt sich Korrektur.
Ja.
Критика это возникает из-за зависти.
Kritik entsteht aufgrund von Neid.
И когда мы идем и сплетничаем, рассказываем кому-то,
Und auch so, wenn wir lästern über die Mängel eines anderen.
Поправление, когда мы видим недостатки, хотим помочь.
Und die Korrektur ist, wenn wir Mängel sehen und versuchen zu helfen.
Если есть 3 правила поправления, там есть правила, как нужно это делать.
Es gibt 3 Regeln, wie man dies tut.
Но мы не идеализируем любой поступок человека.
Aber wir idealisieren nicht jede Tat des Menschen.
То есть мы должны видеть, где правильно, где неправильно. Для этого есть регулирующий принцип.
Wir müssen also sehen, was ist richtig, was ist nicht richtig. Dafür gibt es ein regulierendes Prinzip.
Есть те принципы, которые стягивают,
Es gibt Prinzipien, die einen runterziehen,
уничтожают преданность,
zerstören.
а есть те принципы, которые улучшают
Und es
преданность.
gibt Prinzipien, die hingebungsvoll nichts verbessern.
Так описывается нектарное наставление.
Das wird in Nektar Unterweisung beschrieben.
То есть для этого нам есть разум, чтобы уметь различать.
Also man muss auch noch eine Intelligenz haben, um das unterscheiden zu können.
Но это не означает, что мы ненавидим, злимся на преданного.
Aber das bedeutet nicht, dass wir auf den Devotee böse sind.
То есть то, что возникает из-за зависти.
Also das ist das, was entsteht aufgrund von Neid.
Мы хотим ему помочь.
Wir möchten ihm helfen.
Interessant. Vielen herzlichen Dank.
Интересно, спасибо.
Это есть разница
Also es gibt so einen kleinen, da ist ein kleiner Unterschied
между критикой и поправлением.
zwischen Kritik und Korrektur.
Und was sind die 3 Regeln, wie man jemanden korrigiert?
И что это за 3 правила, как кого-то корректировать?
Это на моей лекции уже будет послушать.
Das kann ich beim nächsten Vortrag erzählen.
Also,
Ja,
Есть 3 правила, это самому следовать то, что ты говоришь.
Es gibt 3 Regeln. Das ist die erste Regel, selber das zu befolgen, was du sagst.
Быть уполномоченным
Zweitens, bevollmächtigt sein.
и на своем примере показать, как это правильно делается.
Und drittens, auf seinem eigenen Beispiel zeigen, wie man das macht.
Бхактивиддхана с вами объяснял 10 правил.
Bhakti Vaibhava Swami hat 10 Regeln gezeigt.
oh, noch mehr.
И там нужно учитывать время, место, обстоятельства,
Und dort muss man Ort, Zeit und Umstände beachten.
состояние преданного
Zustand des Devotees
и там еще.
und noch andere Sachen.
Oh, sehr gut. Kann ich nach der Klasse nochmal zu Ihnen kommen, dass ich mir das nochmal aufschreibe? Das ist ja nice. Super. Vielen Dank. Prabhu made a nice point that there's also a big difference between wanting to correct someone with the ambition to help that person advance or to criticize a person. And there are certain characteristics accompanied by that. For example, if a person is just critical, he may become angry, upset, take these things personal. And if the person wants to correct another person, that has a different also motivation. Actually, the motivation is more out of compassion. So, and then Prabhuji also said that in the nectar of instruction, there's also certain guidelines how to behave, and they are there so that we can develop the proper discrimination, the proper intelligence to do that. And then he spoke about 3 rules if you want to correct someone. The first one was, let me see. The second one was, okay, I need to be in a position to do that. Yeah? What was the first and the third one?
Самому следовать.
Selber folgen und dann durch sein eigenes Beispiel. So then, the first one, thank you. The first one was to practice these themselves, like being an acharya. And the third one was that, okay, acting like that acharya, you can show others how to actually do that, what needs to be corrected. Yeah, so we can see that Krishna consciousness is a science. And it's especially a science of changing one's heart, one's consciousness, away from materialistic tendencies and Srila Jiva Goswami's books. And we're right now in a section of Chaitanya Charitamrita where we just finished speaking about these glories of their books and their contributions. So thank you. I think that this is a very befitting connection actually. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakrurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandhyam Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Radhanatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudha Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 1, text 44, and in the end also 45. But I will not speak very much about 45, it's just 45 gives a natural end to this section of the text. And there's anyway no purport. Okay, so the verse is at the board. Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura. Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura. Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura.
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 Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura.
Please chant.
Gopala Champuna Grantha Mahashura.
Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura.
Gopala Champuna Granta Mahashura.
Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Nitya Lila Stapanya He Vrajarasapura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura. Mataji's.
Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Gopala Champuna Meganta Mahasura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura.
Nitya Lila Sthapanaya He Vrajarasapura. And Gopala Champu.
Gopala Champu.
The Gopala Champu.
Gopala Champu.
Name.
Name.
By the name.
By the name.
Grantha.
Grantha.
The transcendental literature.
The transcendental literature.
Mahashura.
Mahashura.
Most formidable.
Most formidable.
Nitya Lila.
Nitya Lila.
Of eternal pastimes.
Of eternal pastimes.
Sthapana.
Stapana.
Establishment.
Establishment.
Yahe.
Yahe.
In which.
In which.
Vrajarasa.
Vrajarasa.
The transcendental mellows enjoyed in Vrindavan.
The transcendental mellows enjoyed in Vrindavan.
Pura.
Pura.
Complete. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki. The most famous and formidable transcendental literature is the book named Gopala Champu. In this book, the eternal pastimes of the Lord are established, and the transcendental mellows enjoyed in Vrindavan are completely described. Purport. In his Anubhashya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following information about the Gopala Champu. The Gopala Champu is divided into two parts. The first part is called the eastern wave, the second part is called the northern wave. In the first part there are 33 supplications, and in the second part 37 supplications. In the first part, completed in 1510 Shakapta, das ist Anno Domini 1588, the following subject matters are discussed. Vrindavan and Goloka, the killing of the Putana demon, the gopis returning home under the instructions of Mother Yashoda, the bathing of Lord Krishna and Balaram, Snigdakanta and Madhukanta, the dream of Mother Yashoda, the Jamashtami ceremony, the meeting between Nanda Maharaj and Vasudev, and the killing of the Putana demon, the pastimes of awakening from bed, the deliverance of the demon Shakata and the name-giving ceremony, the killing of the Trinavata demon, Lord Krishna's eating dirt, Lord Krishna's childish naughtiness, and Lord Krishna as a thief, churning of the yogurt, Krishna's drinking from the breast of Mother Yashoda, the breaking of the yogurt pot, Krishna bound with ropes, the deliverance of the two brothers, Yamalajuna, and the lamentation of Mother Yashoda. Entering Sri Vrindavan, the killing of Vatsasura, Bakasura, and Vyumasura, the killing of Aghasura, and the bewilderment of Lord Brahma. The tending of the cows in the forest, taking care of the cows, and chastising the Kaliya serpent. The killing of Gadabhasura, the ass demon, and the praise of Krishna. The previous attraction of the gopis, the killing of Pralambasura and the eating of the forest fire. The gopis attempt to approach Krishna, the lifting of Govardhan hill. Bathing Krishna with milk, the return of Nanda Maharaj from the custody of Varuna, and the vision of Goloka Vrindavan by the Gopas. The performance of the rituals in Katyayani Vrata and the worship of the goddess Durga. The begging of food from the wives of the Brahmanas performing sacrifices. The meeting of Krishna and the Gopis. Krishna's enjoying the company of the Gopis. The disappearance of Radha and Krishna from the scene and the search for them by the Gopis. The reappearance of Krishna, the determination of the Gopis, pastimes in the waters of the Yamuna, the deliverance of Nanda Maharaj from the clutches of the serpent, various pastimes in solitary places, the killing of Shankachuda and the Hori, the killing of Arishtasura, the killing of the Keshi demon, the appearance of Sri Narada Muni, and the description of the year in which the book was completed. In the second part, known as Uttara Champu, the following subject matters are discussed. Attraction for Vrajabhumi, the cruel activities of Akrura, Krishna's departure for Mathura, a description of the city of Mathura, the killing of Kansa, Nanda Maharaja's separation from Krishna and Balaram, Nanda Maharaja's entrance into Vrindavan without Krishna and Balaram, the studies of Krishna and Balaram, how the son of the teacher of Krishna and Balaram was returned, Uddhava's visit to Vrindavan, Radharani is talking with the messenger Bumblebee, the return of Uddhava from Vrindavan, the binding of Jarasandha, the killing of the Yavana Jarasandha, the marriage of Balaram, the marriage of Rukmini, 7 marriages, the killing of Narakasura, the taking of the Parijata flower from heaven, and Krishna's marriage to 16,000 princesses. Victory over Banasura, a description of Balaram's return to Vraja, the killing of Paundraka, the imitation Vishnu, the killing of Dvivida and thoughts of Hastinapur, departure for Kurukshetra, how the the residents of Vrindavan and Dwaraka met at Kurukshetra, Krishna's consultation with Uddhava, the deliverance of the king, the performance of the Rajasuya sacrifice, the killing of Shalva, Krishna's considering returning to Vrindavan, Krishna's revisiting Vrindavan, the adjustment of obstructions by Srimati Radharani and others, everything completed. The residence of Radha and Madhava, decorating Srimati Radharani and Krishna, the marriage ceremony of Srimati Radharani and Krishna, the meeting of Srimati Radharani and Krishna, and entering Goloka. So, and I would like to ask your permission to just also continue to read the next verse, to close that section, and before I continue with the purport. Would that be okay? I think that makes the most sense. So, Madhya Lila 145. E matanana granta kariya prakasha koshti sahite koila vrindavana vasa. Thus, Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and their nephew, Srila Jiva Goswami, as well as practically all of their family members, lived in Vrindavan and published important books on devotional service. So here we come to the end of this section in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where we heard first of all from Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada and his books, and now also we hear from Srila Jiva Goswami and his books, and especially about Gopala Champu, which basically is a very elaborate rendition of Krishna's pastimes. In general, these books are for elevated devotees, Raganuga Bhakti. We are not on a platform, we are on the platform of Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti, as long as we still have to push ourselves to get up in the morning and do whatever duties we have to do. We can know for certain that we are not quite there, and also as long as we have material desires, beginning from sexual attraction to the opposite sex, or maybe even the same sex nowadays. So we can understand that we have impurities in our heart, and therefore we should not actually touch these books, because being filtered by our impurities, we may try to draw down the nectarian divine essence of these pastimes and compare it to our experiences on the mundane platform. And that would again be a big obstacle in the progress of our devotional service. So, but Srila Prabhupada was very, very merciful. And as many of you may have noticed, this incident described here, we can also find in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, why do I say that Srila Prabhupada was very merciful to us? Because even before coming to the 10th canto, to translating the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, he gave a rendition of the Krishna book, in which we can find all these nectarian pastimes, but presented in such a way that we can also access them, because there are so many philosophical points interwoven, to set our perception straight again, to make the distinction. So we can also already get an impression of who Krishna is, how does he engage in his pastimes, how great he is, how his devotees behave, of the different flavors in devotional service. And we hear also in Srila Prabhupada's summary study of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Prabhupada wrote the Nectar of Devotion, which is also a presentation of the science of devotional service, and which goes more deeper into that direction, actually. If we want to understand Krishna's sublime qualities and also his exchanges with his beloved devotees, and different stages of devotional service, then we can study this book. And others, especially Rupa Goswami, like we heard before when we started to discuss the Transcendental Diary from the Sri Upadeshamrita, the Nectar of Instruction, which are for us. They are very helpful guidelines for the neophyte devotees, actually for all the devotees, because they have essential guidelines on how to see the things and how to behave, and because we have a particular conditioning. In the scriptures it's always said the conditioned soul. Now what does that mean? What exactly is that conditioning? Now maybe let me ask you, what is your idea about your conditioning? Without getting too personal, but how can we become or be conditioned?
The whole business with the body is conditioned as well. Like going to the toilet, for example. If you don't want to, but the body says you have to. It's conditioned.
Okay. That we have to follow the body's urges. For example, when we need to go to the toilets, we are conditioned by the call of nature to toilet and the whole bodily constitution. Okay, but I want to go in detail, especially about this.
I want to enjoy. I want to control.
Yes, that's the original problem. I want to enjoy and control. That is the origin of our conditioning. We became envious of Krishna. We wanted to be in the center and enjoy and control. And so here we are. Congratulations. Everybody in his very personal prison. Karmic prison and conditioning. Okay, more?
Обусловленность в невежестве.
Bedingtheit in Unwissenheit.
То, что мы хотим наслаждаться, это нормально.
Dass wir genießen wollen, ist normal.
То, что мы хотим наслаждаться не своим и независимо от Кришны, это не нормально.
Dass wir genießen wollen mit Dingen, die nicht uns gehören und getrennt von Krishna, das ist nicht normal.
Ja.
Все принадлежит Кришне.
Alles gehört Krishna.
So Prabhu is adding a little bit on this point that we want to enjoy. He said that this is in ignorance. When we want to enjoy things that don't belong to us, and so basically we have, that's how we come under the influence of ignorance, of avidya, of this material conception of life by this original desire. And then it gets filtered by the different modes of nature.
We can enjoy with prasada.
We can, exactly, for example, we can enjoy secondary. If we want to eat something nice, then first of all we prepare it for Krishna and we offer it to him with love and devotion, and hopefully then Lord Krishna accepted it because he's completely free to accept it or not. And then we can take his remnants and in this way become secondary and joyous. Yeah, but I'm interested about conditioning, not how to get out of conditioning. Thank you. Okay, more contributions about conditioning? When you think about this body, what could be typical conditionings?
Sleeping.
Yeah, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, the bodily propensities. What more?
Living situation.
What?
Living situation.
Living situation. Can you explain that a little
Where
bit?
you living, for example? We are living here in the temple, so we are blissful, but when you are outside, you have to work for your living, you have to survive basically, and you cannot really focus on other things. It's also a conditioning.
Yeah, the living circumstances in which we are. Wetter, ja. Der Einfluss der Sterne und alles, was dann. Sorry, now I speak again in English. So the conditioning of where we are, situated, where we live, the external environment. I heard something very interesting. I'm doing some also meditations, and they're saying that basically we need to understand that our environment is an extension of ourselves. Of course, this has to be taken with a proper perspective, that, you know, we manifest the things according to what is within us. So it's the law of resonance at work. You know, it's not everything is one. It's not Mayavadi here. So and also that I am. I mean, this body, not the soul, the conditioning of the body, mind, and false ego and intelligence is also part of everything else, you know, also part of the environment. And we can understand that philosophically also, because in the beginning of creation there was the original substance. What is it, Pradhan? Or Pradhan is already the material complete manifestation. There's two things, Pradhan and there's something else. So there's different stages in the process of creation. And so we can understand that basically we, everyone of us, I mean every body and mind and intelligence and false ego, every imprisonment, every individualized imprisonment, engagement of the soul is basically part of the total sum and substance of the universe, right? But the specifics are, for example, okay, one person is in a male body, another in a female, another body is conditioned by old age or disease, another is young, or, you know, the conditioning by various diseases that we may have, and even from our ancestors, you know, things that they, like life lessons they did not learn, or in their environment which they were exposed to. Let's say, for example, scarcity during wartime, and the fear of survival, and maybe the tendency to hoard things, all these things, they are also part of this kind of conditioning. So it is actually very elaborate. Of course, it is a mixture of the gunas and different karma that we accumulated. But I just want to focus on explaining that. Why? Because we can understand we are not that. We are not all that. We are neither black nor white, nor woman nor man, nor Muslim, nor Christian, nor whatever, Eskimo or German, Chinese. We are not all that. We are also not humans. We are the soul. These are all identifications, upadis. Names only. But according to the names, we act out different things that we have, you know, cultural conditionings, our own conclusions, our own mental concoctions. Can you all follow still? That was a little elaborate look on how we are conditioned. And these books, like Krishna book and Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, they are actually helping us to shift our perspective. To shift our perspective to what is actually the substance and what is the shadow. What is our original self and what is, let's say, for example, this false ego or something, you know, the conditioning. Because what happens is that when we experience something, we perceive it like through a lens, of course, according to the different modes in which we are, or ideally in pure goodness, then we can see things as they really are. But other than that, we have sunglasses of gunas that are filtering our perception. And therefore, we cannot make our own laws, but we need to have guidance from the authorized person, the law books of spiritual life, from the acharyas. And we can see Srila Prabhupada here in this purport. He is basically starting immediately to quote Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He says in his Anubhashya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following information about the Gopala Champu. And then He does not add even anything. Yeah, so the time is almost over. Sorry. Actually, I wanted to speak something completely different, but it's interesting how things turn out. This science is very complete, and also sometimes Srila Prabhupada is being accused not to have given Raganuga Bhakti, but he actually did, you know. But we have to first of all purify our perception and see the things as they truly are. And how we can do that is by reading the Shastra. And just to give a small taste of what I was thinking about, there's different ways of how to read Shastra. For example, when we read a novel, we can just consume it like we would watch a movie or something. Or we can try to study it, like analytically, you know, try to understand it like Sankhya philosophy or something, and really dive deep into the points and discuss with each other, you know. So this is what Krishna Katha is meant to be, actually, you know. And Srila Prabhupada encourages us to always read his books, and I just want to finish by something that I once received here in one group from Srila Prabhupada. And this is again just also to remind me about the essence of the essential activity of always studying Srila Prabhupada's books and very carefully and very attentively. Because Srila Prabhupada did not only give the books for distribution, but especially he wrote them for us so that we can elevate our consciousness, Shastra Chakshut, and change our perception and change our heart. So the title of this small contribution here is Learn My Books, just like a lawyer learns the law books. So this is Bhagavata speaking. Srila Prabhupada said, can you quote this verse? The two of us looked at each other, and I thought, Tamal Krishna Goswami will quote the verse. But Tamal Krishna Goswami thought I was going to do it. Neither of us knew the verse. Prabhupada said, just see, you are not reading my books. Every day you have to read, study, and learn my books just like a lawyer learns the law books. You must know everything, chapter and verse. If you do not know, how will you preach? Unless you know my books, how will you teach these men? Do you know that every day even I read my own books? Do you know why I read my books? We did not want to venture any answer. Prabhupada said, I read my books every day because even I learn something new when I read my books. These are not my books. I do not write these books. It seemed as though something mystical came over him at this point. He continued. Every morning when I sit here to write my books, Krishna comes personally and dictates to me what to write. I simply take dictation from Krishna to write these books. Therefore, when I read them, even I learn something. The way he said this was so dramatic that we felt the weight of his words. I was thinking, I am speaking with a person who is speaking with God, who's right next to God. I'm only one person removed from God. He's so close. Yet I knew, because of the state of my own consciousness, how far away I actually was. But by some grace, I was being placed right next to God by being with Prabhupada. It was amazing. So this is from the Memories, Anecdotes about a Modern Day Saint, Volume 1, tape 13, page 322. Questions or comments? Or add-ons?
Есть вопрос?
Вы говорили, я не послышалось, стадии изучения книг православных. Какие стадии изучения?
Это и есть изучение. Стадия
Есть разные стадии знакомства, есть просто
в смысле перевод с английского.
впечатления.
Стадии, это на английском означает изучение.
Стадии.
Okay, the doubt was resolved already in Russian.
Не, есть просто разные стадии изучения. Какие...
Может, если вы их помните, назовите, мы послушаем.
Я хотел услышать.
Нет, она об этом не говорила. Ich meinte, es gibt verschiedene Levels, wie man Bücher von Prabhupada studiert.
Ja.
Dachte, du hättest darüber gesprochen. Ich habe gesagt, nein, soll uns das berichten, wenn das weiß. Oder willst du das beantworten?
Ich habe nur einmal ganz kurz angerissen, also man kann da noch tiefer reingehen natürlich, aber wie gesagt, wir haben jetzt schon nach 9 Uhr. Sonntagsfest steht vor der Tür. Also es gibt auf jeden Fall, wollte ich den Punkt machen, nur kurz andeuten, dass es kommt auf das auch dann darauf an, die Intention, mit der man studiert, auf welche Weise man die Bücher studiert und so weiter. Das ist sehr, sehr wichtig. Aber ich wollte da nur so hindeuten, nicht alles genau erklären. Einfach um die Wichtigkeit nochmals aufzuzeigen, ne? Um uns alle zu inspirieren, mir inklusive, regelmäßig die Schriften zu studieren, uns darüber auszutauschen und so. Ich habe mal gehört, oh, I'm again speaking German. I once heard that in New York Temple, in one of New York's temple, the devotees, they have a study time together where they study several hours each day and discuss among themselves together. Isn't that nice? And I remember that when we did something like this, even studying one verse together in some Bhakti Vriksha group setting, it was so lively because, you know, this knowledge is meant to come alive, you know, to share everyone's realizations about topics, exchange how to overcome obstacles or difficulties or so. So it's like really like churning the ocean of nectar, of the instruction. If you just read because we have to read and we don't, like, you know, and maybe we fall asleep all the time, then we don't derive the same benefit like when we study the books with a sense of urgency. This is another nice quotation from His Holiness Radhanath Goswami Maharaj. He said that we need to study these books with a sense of urgency in order to be able to really hear them. If we don't have that eagerness to hear, Tivrena Bhakti Yogina, how should we change? It's not possible. Then we just try to be happy on the material platform. We eat prasadam and we feel comfortable and we don't want to develop. That is a big obstacle also for the devotees, even if we live in the temple. Here everything is so protected, so calm and so nice. Nice people, nice kirtan, nice everything. We can forget how cruel actually life is outside when we live. Outside we have to maintain our family, whether single-handedly or, you know, with so many other expansions, you know. And we have to work full-time. The energy of the living entity. Very severe conditions. And therefore, another point is how we can serve Srimad Bhagavatam daily is by distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. But he said we can only preach when we also know what is in the books. He just said that. So I just wanted to give some small inspiration in this direction. Yeah. Even I just repeat the words like a parrot. So. More comments, questions? Okay. Thank you very much. Granted. Shri Chaitanya Chaitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada, Savior of the world ki jai.
Was ist besonders was wissen?
Ja, ich bin davon. Darf ich dann schauen?